Hey everybody, TG Watkins here with simplertrading.com, and today this is your daily 5. Let's get into it. So I got these charts yesterday. I printed them out basically August 3rd, the night of August 3rd, and right now it is August 4th, and so we are seeing some of the stuff that I was projecting in here actually start to happen today. So the first thing I'm looking at is, we've had this pretty nice run up. The market has handled a lot of stuff like Apple and Microsoft and Google and Amazon, all those earnings. And whatever the earnings were, the market said, hey, that we're okay with it and we're fine. And so they started to move up. It handled GDP, a negative GDP. So 2 quarters were actually technically in a recession, depending on how you want to talk about that with all the news. And then also they handled a rate raise, 75 basis points, and we are all the way up here. So, hey, for now, that's good news. But I still got to look at the patterns. I still got to look at the technicals and how I look at these things. And the things I wanted to point out that I am seeing actually kick in today is this resistance. So on the S&P, here's the weekly chart on the left, and you can see the price is coming into kind of this area right here where there is some resistance. And I drew a yellow line just so we could better visualize that. And then you can also see here on the daily chart, it's coming into the third ATR. It's very high up there. You can also see we're starting to kind of pull away from the 8 EMA a little bit. And then also we're just really far away from the hourly 50. So anytime you kind of get too far away from moving averages, price does like to come back to them. You can see price also pretty far away from the daily 50. You can kind of see that same situation back here. The other thing is, well, maybe a lot of you guys are familiar with my elf shoe pattern. This is what I consider to be the arch of the foot. And what I know is that after the arch of the foot, we tend to get a pullback into what I call the ball of the foot, and then we can move back up. So it's just the natural progression of things that even if we're going to go higher, I am looking for a pullback due to these situations and everything else I'm looking at. Now, I'm not so sure that price is going to come all the way back down to the daily 50. It's definitely possible, but I think I'm looking more towards the daily 21 as far as a pullback. Once that happens, I think my ultimate target for the market to really top out is going to be about the weekly 50, the daily 200, and about the monthly 10. So I'm looking for a pullback. I want that pullback to be bullish. I want it to go into support, and I want to buy that dip. And then I want to see price move up to these overhead resistance areas. And then I would really watch out. I think that moving up into these overhead moving averages like the monthly 10, the weekly 50, and the daily 200, I think those are going to be, I think they're big. So seriously, watch out when price gets up that high. Another view of this is through the semis. Now the semis, of course, we've had Nancy Pelosi over there talking up Taiwan and some other things. And so we've had these things go up. We've had the chips bill, all this kind of stuff. So there's been a whole lot of news going on with the semis as well. But I got to still stick to the patterns. And look what I'm pointing out here on the weekly chart. Look at this trend line. It's pretty darn perfect, isn't it? So you can see even today, if you look at your own charts, that we have price still just hovering right there. Even if you go left a little bit, you can see we are running right in, if I could draw a straighter line, but you can see price running right into the similar kind of resistance as the S&P. You'll also notice the NASDAQ, if you look at the NASDAQ, it has a trend line doing very much a similar thing. So I look at this as, hey, we've had a pretty good time, really good move, good distance, price coming up here. It's about time this thing takes a little bit of a breather, chops, flags, pullback, something like that. It needs to rest and recoup for the next move up. Also, again, arch of the foot right here on the weekly chart, third ATR on the daily, and I would be expecting some sort of pullback somewhere around there. And then we're also starting to see a little bit of negative divergence here. Nothing to be super concerned about, like, don't go bearish, don't think that the world's going to implode, but I am looking at that as saying, hey, this is going higher on less energy, and it seems to me there's likely to be a pullback coming. So we come over here to UVXY. This is another thing that I look at. You could do the UVXY, the UVIX, just kind of pick your poison on that one. And the thing I want to be calling out here is look at this. See how price has been going down this entire time? Now look at the Moxie indicator. It's been going sideways. Do you see the divergence there? So this is what I call positive divergence. Now, it's nothing to act on quite yet because the Moxie indicator is still below 0 and price is still below these downtrending moving averages. But over the course of time, in my experience, when I see this is telling me that momentum does not want to go down any further despite price going down. Seems to me something is setting up here. And again, got to stick to my normal patterns. Again, if you guys know my elf shoe pattern, you can see there's an elf shoe right here. You can see there's the toe. So what do we got right here? Well, we have just the beginning of it. If this thing is going to work out, we still have to deal with the typical patterns, probably a bounce up, then a move down, and then we might be getting a big move. So just watch this one. Probably going to get some sort of move if the market, if the semis, if the NASDAQ, if the S&P pull back to about their daily 21, daily 50, something like that. I would expect the UVXY to probably move up to the 21, just like we've seen back here. And then I would expect price to move back down because the S&P would be going up to its weekly 50, daily 200, all that kind of stuff. And so I'd expect the UVXY to move down like that. And then after that, then I'd expect the next move. So that's everything I've drawn. If you guys want to come back, screenshot this, come back in a few weeks, couple months, and we'll see how I did on this. But I have a feeling that something like this is what's going to be happening, and really keep in mind that positive divergence on the hourly UVXY. All right, then a couple more. ARK, we are seeing some progress. So again, the markets are moving up. We are seeing some names just finally pick themselves up off the floor, double bottom in through here. They have finally gotten over the 50. Now they've turned the daily 50 in an uptrend, and they're holding it and they're moving up. That's great. Happy to see this. You can see that the hourly 200 is starting to trend up too. We have been trading names and like this and things that are doing well. However, there are going to be a lot of twists and turns. You can see here prices coming up to the weekly 21, very similar to what the S&P is doing. So I would expect kind of up and then down and then maybe some up like that. And I don't have super high expectations as far as where this stuff will go, but there are quite a few names that are moving in a similar fashion to this. And so I wanted to point it out to you guys, especially in through here on the daily chart and the hourly chart, of what to be looking for if things are going to be bullish for you for a little while. Another one, GBTC. It's kind of if you look at the miners, the Bitcoin miners are actually starting to come back alive. If you take a look at the Bitcoin futures, they are sitting on quite a few moving averages as potential support. So we can see here very, very oversold on the weekly time frame, and then on the hourly or daily, sorry, it's actually turned around, and now it's sitting here. Looks like it's flagging. I would expect the next move is somehow over the daily 50. Now, great, you can be a move and we can have that, but then watch out for the overhead resistance. And I'm watching for price to mostly kind of hang out in here as the 50 gets over the 200. Notice the 200 is in an uptrend. And then even as far as some positive divergence, you can see price down, Moxie indicator up. So again, starting to see some areas here that just don't want to go down anymore. And if they don't go down, then we might be able to get some opportunities for them to the upside. So yeah, Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners, take a look over in that sector. All right, well, thanks again. That is your Daily 5. My name is TG Watkins over at simplertrading.com. If you guys are interested in a newsletter, a video newsletter that I put out twice a week, come over here at this top link. Otherwise, you can check me out on the various social medias. We do a fair amount of posting over there. And then if you guys are interested or like the way that I see the markets and want to get more of it, come on over to the Moxie trading room where we have live trading, Q&A. I'm always in the chat room. I'm on mic and share my screen almost every day. We get real-time text alerts. I kind of just tell you guys what's on my mind, what I'm seeing. It's a constant stream of education going through there. And then we disclose every single trade that we take and put it out there. So thanks again, and everybody, hope you have a good day, and we'll catch you at the next one.
Hey, Grayson Rose here with StockCharts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, consider giving it a like down below, maybe leave us a comment, and if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe at the link up above. We're gonna bring you daily content from an incredible collection of technical analysts and financial experts.